Hi, good afternoon. So we had stopped by Los Angeles this morning, as one would do during a pandemic. Um, just a quick video on what I would do when selecting the best tropical at the nursery. So let's pretend this is the nursery, and these are the different Atemoyas and Cherimoyas that are present. One of the things I look at is so these are all grafted varieties. One of the things that I look at, a major factor is the size of the rootstocks. The rootstocks is basically the roots all the way to the grafted union zone. So making sure that the rootstocks are a fairly decent size, that there's no cracks, there's no imperfections, anything that would indicate an unhealthy root system. So with that out of the way, the next thing I look at would be the scion, which is the section above the union, the graft joint. Just looking at the leaves, I'm not seeing any issues with the leaves. I'm not seeing that it's deficient with anything. So that moving on, the next step that I would look at is the actual union joint itself, just making sure that it's fairly good. I'm not seeing any obvious cracks or any insect or disease issues with this union joint. And thirdly, once I get it home, so from Los Angeles to Visalia, it's a good 3-hour drive. I know you're exhausted, I am too, but so is the tree. These trees were laid on their side for the duration of the journey. So one of the things you should do is put it in a shade. So once you got in the shade, just water it. Give it a nice drink of water. And what this does is it accomplishes two things. Number one, it de-stresses the plant. It relaxes them. And number two, it takes out any bubbles that might be present in the roots due to the vibration of the vehicle. And while I'm watering this, at the nursery, you should also make a mental note of the position where they've got these trees in. For example, was it sitting in full shade? Was it sitting underneath a canopy of sort, a shade cloth, for example? Or was it sitting out in the full sun? That kind of tells you the sun requirement for some of these. For example, all of these were, being that these were anonas, they were sitting out in full sun. So that tells me that these guys should be okay with it being full sun in the valley. But if you find that they were in the shade, and then you come home, water it, and then the next day you put it in full sun, the tree's going to go through a lot of shock. And there's a chance that they might not make it. So just giving them a good drink of water while I'm doing that. One other thing that you should also do is, on these I've already done it, but oftentimes these trees come accompanied with these supporting stakes and these plastic ties. Basically, the way they have it is really just, there's no breathing room for these trees to grow, period. So it's basically choking the life, stunning their growth. So one of the first things I do is cut them out, and if need to, just use a Velcro tie. It encourages the trees to straighten the wood on their own. So just a quick run around on what we've got here. This is a Lisa Atemoya. This buddy back here is a Dr. White Cherimoya. This one is a Fino de Jete Cherimoya. This one is a Booth Cherimoya. Oh, and just one note: the booth Cherimoya is the hardiest when it comes to frost of all the Cherimoyas. But from experience, Cherimoyas and Atemoyas, regardless of what type they are, they do really well here in the Central Valley, even in the ground. Gaffner Atemoya. This one's an African Pride Atemoya. And back here is an Orton Cherimoya. So that is it. If you like this video and would like me to produce more, just subscribe, think about subscribing and hitting that like button. All right, have a good afternoon.